Everybody, how's it going? We are currently live, but before we actually start the show, we're gonna take a moment here as we're gonna take a moment of silence here for George Floyd and his family. All right, folks, it's Tuesday night. A lot of chaos going on around the country, but I want to welcome Amanda Maelstrom and Lex DeMorte, and you ladies, it's your show.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Really excited to be back with everybody, even though there's so many crazy things happening right now.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you want to move your mic for a moment, Lex. It's hard to...
You can't hear me now?
That is much better. Thank you. Sorry, it was hard to hear you.
That's okay. Apparently my mic just doesn't like me right now. Of course.
Well, no worries. Good to see your beautiful face. How are you tonight?
I'm great, and how are you?
I am well. How is everybody else out there tonight? Everybody's doing good?
I'm admiring your necklace. You have this whole witchy vibe going on right now.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, something a little different. I definitely like that.
I'm rocking the blanket because it's cold.
I understand that too. Hopefully it is fluffy. It looks kind of cute and cozy over there.
Absolutely.
I missed you last week. I'm so sorry. Well, we weren't here. I was traveling back from a little bit of a escape of the quarantine.
I'm ready for that. I'm definitely jealous.
Well-deserved.
I'm glad that we're here and back and ready to get things rolling again.
Yes, me too. So I know you thought of a couple of things that we might want to talk about tonight, and I'm kind of excited to hear about them.
Absolutely. I've been going back through and watching some old slasher movies, some new slasher movies, so I thought that'd be fun to talk about. I was recently actually watching The Terrifier,
Ooh,
which it was actually the first time I saw it, and I feel like it was really good, but I really enjoyed how he killed each person differently. It wasn't just the same poke and you're dead kind of thing. Well, not poke.
Right, it's kind of right, but personalized almost. So everybody got a different gore there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing I'd have to say is I think I was surprised with how it ended. It just wasn't where I thought it was going, and I wouldn't say that I was disappointed, but I still don't really know how I feel about the end of it. It's just one of those you gotta watch it kind of things. Have you watched anything new recently?
I did watch, not necessarily too new, but I have personally shied away from a lot of the remakes. We talked about that a little bit previously, and I'm dabbling into the new stuff and dabbling in. So I did watch from a few years ago the Leatherface, because Texas Chainsaw was always one of my favorites. Maybe even one of the love those ones, but I wanted to see a little bit. I liked it. It went kind of like how Leatherface started, and it started before he was Leatherface, and there was definitely still plenty of gore and slash going on with it, which definitely appreciate. I even shielded my eyes a couple of times. But so it was good. It was good. I definitely liked how it let in and gave some background on to the character. You know, when you're watching Texas Chainsaw, the old one or the new ones, you know, you don't really know much behind the man, behind the face. So that's
Absolutely.
cool.
I totally agree. The backstories kind of make it even more like makes you want to rewatch what you've already seen because you're like, oh, well now you kind of like, I wouldn't say understand their motives, but you kind of like feel for them more. Like, well, like man, I like that hurts and
Absolutely. Yeah, when you're talking about a whole psychological situation of, you know, the basic nature versus nurture, and, you know, they come in, and most of the times, you know, when you're doing the background stories, you see that they have a, you know, terrible childhood, usually, with very messed up scenarios that are happening, horrific scenarios, you know, you wouldn't even imagine as an adult. And then, you know, they turn into, you know, they're almost built into these, you know, amazing bad guys at the end, you know, by the end of it.
Yeah. And like you said, with Shield in your eyes, like I'm always guilty of that. I'm like I want to watch it, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to see it. It's every single time it's like it's so hard to look away, but you really want to, and especially when they just keep going, you're just like, oh no.
Yes. Yes.
The overkills.
Oh, it's so good. You're just like, that's exactly what I do. I kind of like thinking like, no, I gotta watch. No, I gotta watch. I can't watch. I gotta walk away. No, I gotta watch.
Yeah. Another one that I had watched recently was called Hush, which I loved it. It was completely suspenseful. So the main character is deaf. So, you know, slasher movies are already really intense because you never know where this creature is gonna pop up, but when it's just you just there's like nothing that can even help you like get an idea of it. It was just so like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It was so suspenseful, and I can't even describe it. It was so amazing. I loved it. It was one of those movies I was so surprised how much I loved it too. Like it definitely should watch it. And Debbie said she loved it too. It's a good one. You should see it.
I will. That would be on the top of my list.
You should.
I love the ones where you're on the edge of your seat like that, you know, where it's, you know, the, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You know, it's one of the best parts of the slasher whole subgenre is that anticipation of what's going to happen and building it up. So I love those.
Yeah. Me too. Watch it. It's like I keep thinking about it. It was really well done. It's because you know slashers are kind of harder to watch again because it's like the suspense is broken for you. But that's one of those movies that I would 100% watch again.
That's awesome.
So suspenseful. Are there any like super suspenseful movies you tend to like the most?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Suspense. The suspense is the best part about those movies, you know. So they all grab you with that hook where you're just waiting, and then it nails you right there, and then I'm like this again, you know, like
Yeah.
No, I like rewatching some of the old ones too, where I do know what's going to happen, and sometimes like I still jump at the same dang parts every time. I'm just like feel like looking around. Is anybody hoping I'll not ruin my street cred there by jumping at the same part I jump at every time? It's so funny.
That's the best part of it though, is like you know it's a good movie when you know what's gonna happen, but it still like freaks you out anyways. Like the calling for a good movie. Absolutely. Yeah, when I was watching it earlier, or when I was watching the other movie earlier, my cats were like rumbling around near me, and I was like, "Who is that?" Especially since like we're still getting settled into like a new place, so I'm like, "Oh my gosh, someone broke in!" Like you know, like one of those kind of feelings.
Terrible. It's so good all at the same time.
Yes, they're always behind you, says Bill. I'm ready for it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Actually, sorry.
No, go ahead.
was gonna say, I think I'm ready for it, but I think I probably would be one of those first people to die. I don't think I'd make it very far.
I don't know. I think I would fare well, like you said, but sometimes I'm gonna be the one to like, no, I'll try to save you. That would be me, and I would be dying trying to save, some person, that didn't even deserve it. They were assholes, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna save you.
Every time. Yeah, I think my fault would be me just tripping over something because I'm such a clumsy person. Like, I would have this great plan, and then I'd be like, well, and then
you're the girl
away.
Tripping over nothing that gets killed in all the movies. That in all the slasher movies. That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
They wrote that part because of me.
Yeah, no. I don't know. What does everybody else think? Do you think you're going to be able to survive a slasher film? Would you be able to make it to the end? There seems to be a lot of rules, and I don't know if everybody can follow the rules to make it to the end of the movies.
There is. Those are such intense situations, too. Like, you have to think fast and, reevaluate everything you did.
Constantly.
I feel like you gotta play a lot of board games so that way you're used to thinking about all the strategies.
Right.
That's gonna be my strategy to make it through a horror movie is play a bunch of games.
That's a great idea. Get all the scenarios played out. You're like, okay, if I had to do this, I would do that. I would do this. I think my most frustrating part whenever I'm watching those is when they run up the stairs. Why are they always running up the stairs? Where are you going to go? Are you going to climb out? You have to climb out a window. You're going to hide in a closet? The hiding in the closet, no, that doesn't work. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. We all know it doesn't work. You gotta stay away from running up the stairs. Stay away from running and hiding in the closets. Debbie said she would also be the clumsy tripping and the girl too. Well, see, Debbie, I would be there trying to save you, and I would get killed. We would probably both be killed because I would be trying to be like, no, come on, girls, let's get up and run. And then I'm done. All three of us are done instantly.
Sorry, it was our fault. We dragged you into this.
It's okay. I would have tripped in the next 10 feet anyway over something, or my own feet myself.
Yeah, you're right, though. They always just... that's the one thing that, when you're watching a slasher movie and you're like, why would you do that? Or, my favorite's when they have plenty of time and space to get away, but they're like, nah, I'm gonna whack this thing, and I'm like, why would you do that? Just run.
Just run. Or at the end where they've used a gun to try to kill, the bad guy, and then they're like, they just sit there, and they didn't do any there's no headshot. Come on, one shot, one kill, put it in the head. Now, granted, it doesn't work with all of the bad guys because some of the bad guys are totally immune to that, as we see towards, the ends of those movies.
Yeah. It's not fair. I always think that, too, because, it's you stab them, or you said, you shoot them or something, and then they're just they're down for a few seconds, and then all of a sudden they're like, it's just a little scratch. Didn't do anything.
Just a flesh wound, right?
Where do I get a body shield like that where it's nothing?
I think you acquire that. I don't know how it works, but it's some kind of, eighth sense that you get when you become one of those super bad guys. I'm not sure how that works at all, but as the girls, they run and they trip over a small branch and they've already broken their leg and the bone is coming out of their flesh, and then the bad guy who was 3 miles away finally makes it up to them and kills them horrifically.
Debbie said she will stay ground level with my handheld weapons, swords or battle axes. I have these things in every room.
Yes.
She's prepared.
Have to be prepared
for everything.
I mean, in this horror that we are living, you have to be prepared. That is it.
Yeah, I feel because everyone always goes for that kitchen knife, but I'm like, what if you're not in the kitchen? I just imagine, like, like those, like, metal lamp poles. I feel like that would be a good thing to whack somebody with, because, they're metal, they're long, so it's kind of like swinging a baseball bat. You break the light bulb and poke them with the broken glass, like.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, that's what I would want.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a kitchen knife either. That just doesn't. That's not enough. Slashing, stabbing. You have to get a really, really, really big knife. I feel like you said you'd be better off with. Yeah, lamp is a really good choice. That's really good.
I'm prepared if somebody tries to break into my house and get me. Clearly, I mean, not as prepared as Debbie with her swords and everything.
Honestly, the battle axe actually sounds pretty handy to have.
Until I trip.
Debbie also said she collects the medieval weapons. I did that for a while too. I love weapons too. They're so good.
They are. What do you think you would use? Would you find a lamp pole? A lamp pole, but I guess that's what it is.
Yeah. The lamp pole would be good. Like if I'm like thinking about like what's in my house. A good bat would be good. I don't have a battle axe or a sword handy. That is sad.
Apparently you need to go get one at the Ren Fair.
I'm going to have to visit the Ren Fair and get some more swords here. So I will have to bulk up my collection just in case one of these ultimate bad guys are coming in.
Yeah. What about you guys? What would you guys pick up around your house?
I do have a really heavy rock or salt lamp, like this big. That could be a good blunt weapon if I needed to use that.
It's a good idea.
That was kind of good.
We have ours like hidden in the closet because they're not good for cats. So like,
yeah.
So we just like shoved them in the closet. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with these now. So that's what we'll do. We'll keep them by the closet by the front doors. Stay away.
Right, get away. That's hilarious.
Speaking of my cat, I'm sorry if you can hear the crying in the background.
Mama, you're ignoring me? You can't ignore the cats. You know how they are.
They just go off and then start meowing very loudly for attention, of course.
Clearly neglected. I'm sure has no food, no water, gets no love,
You're right. And we didn't give him a chicken for Gotcha Day today, like, because it was like 1 year for one of our cats. Not enough, apparently. But they would give me away. If I was, like, hiding with my cats in a closet, they'd start screaming, and then he wouldn't even have to think. He'd just listen out for the meows, and I'd be like, because, you gotta protect your animals, like.
It's usually when the animal is killed in the movie that you're just like, what has just happened? They killed the cat. They killed the dog. I can't be doing that.
Yeah, when movies take it to that level, I'm like, oh, no. Like, that's worse than seeing a person die for some reason. Like, it's so sad. Because it's just like, that little animal can't protect himself.
Right? Yeah, no, the animals, I know a lot of you guys are animal lovers out there, too. It's always in the heart. And usually I'm not even expecting it either, I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, oh my God. What? At least when it's a person, they give you warnings, you have the music coming up. There's usually, a prelude that happens. You have time to cover your eyes and heart.
Yeah. That's like in the Hush movie that I was watching. He's like, I'm gonna show you your cat, and I'm gonna hold you. I was like, please don't do that.
Please don't do that. It's terrible.
Yeah. We gotta stop talking about hurting animals.
All right. I know. Let's stop talking. Okay. Back to slashers. So let's debate ultimate bad guys. What do you think in the slasher movies?
Ultimate bad guys.
There's
so you're talking about like Freddy versus Jason versus Michael Myers. Is that what you're going for?
No, perhaps. Maybe see what everybody else thinks too. You know, do you have a favorite? Do you think there's one that would win? Do you think one that would go out? You know, I don't know. There's so many good ones that come out of these movies that make for just saga-long bad guys that, you know, are overwhelming. And I did really like the whole Freddy versus Jason. I thought that was kind of cool, you know, even in a cheesier sort of way, you know.
Yeah. I don't know who. I feel like it's so hard to compare them against each other for me. Like you said, that was such a great pair up, like watching and there's this video where it's like them with like Michael Myers, and it's like the Backstreet Boys songs, like I think it's like I Want It That Way but I'll Slash You That Way or something like that, and that's I love that collaboration with all of them. Like obviously it's just like not like the actual actors, but I still like that. I like that more than them trying to kill each other, so
yeah, it's like that is funny. They all have their good points and their, you know, kind of like their weak points. And I guess it would be hard to kind of put them side by side because they're all terrifying in their own right.
Yeah. I think if, like, I was personally seeing one and, like, it was coming at me, I might be most afraid of like, Freddy Krueger. Because, like, I feel like sometimes I have a hard time sleeping as it is, and that would just, I never would be able to sleep.
He comes in your dreams, you know. He's entering through the dreams where you are completely vulnerable. There's no control of the situation, and then bam, it's not like you're conscious and you're just walking down the street and there's some weird guy looking at you. You know. Freddy, I don't know if I could do Freddy Krueger either. That was probably one of the first ones that I even saw, and still, you know, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger is terrifying.
Absolutely.
The fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta imagine. You're just like, oh, no, I don't want to be there. Because I don't know if I would want to be on the receiving end of, you know, Jason Voorhees either, or, you know, even, I mean, let's be honest, even Leatherface. You know, I know he's slow and he, you know, moves around all cumbersome, but he has no problem messing people up with that chainsaw at, you know, any given time. So I don't know if I would want to be on the receiving end of any of them, and I don't know if I would have a better chance with any of them. I'm not sure.
No, I know I wouldn't. I feel like, because, you know, it's like one of those things where it's like, I already know what you're gonna do. I know how you work. There's no point to run. I know you're gonna get me.
There's no point to run. I'm just done.
Yeah, and going back to last week about how I'm terrified of dolls, like, Chucky was probably one of my first, The Bride of Chucky was one of my first slasher films, and I was pretty young when I saw it, and my memory of it too is like I'm like sitting here freaking out as these like dolls just like murdering everybody. And I remember my friend's brother was with us, and he was like 2 years younger than me, so he's like a young little kid, and he's just laughing the whole time, and I'm just like, how are you laughing at this? This is
terrifying. I also did not like Chucky either, you know. They had legit dolls during that time that looked like him, that were child's playthings, not meant to be Chucky dolls, you know, which was terrifying as it was. And for them to do Chucky as the bad guy, as something as innocent, you know, as a doll, and tear it into that, it was terrifying. I agree with you. I was like, nope, don't want any part of this. And it was so imaginative too, the way you do the possessed soul trapped inside the doll, which bases on a lot of true stories too. You know, there are truly haunted dolls, which is terrifying too. I don't know if I would be brave enough to house those artifacts.
Nope. Dolls are not. You know, like how people have like doll rooms. I'm just gonna walk right back out the second I look at it. There's this one house during like Christmas time. They have like a whole lit up doll room. That's as close as I'll get. They have a glass window. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna peer in. Okay, time to go. Because it's so pretty to look at, and they add new things every year. But it's just like, it's just especially the dolls that move with like their hands, like, you know, the candlestick. Those things freak me out. And I really truly blame Chucky and Dead Silence, which were two of the first horror movies I ever watched. Were both dolls, and I think that's my problem.
I did watch some of the old Puppet Masters as well when I was also young, and I was like, nope, because they were much smaller than Chucky too, and it was a crap ton of them, and they were all super nefarious in their own right. I was like, no, not having this at all.
Yeah.
And not sure why. I definitely had a collection of, like, when I was younger, porcelain dolls to collect them were very big. And I had a couple that I really liked a lot. And I know we talked about it briefly last week, but I never mentioned it. But I had a doll that I sold at a flea market for $5, which was supposed to be an expensive doll. I was like, I don't care. I don't want to keep it anymore. It would not be, I don't know if it was my parents just messing with me, but it would not be in the same place when I would come home from school. And I always kept it all the way in the back, behind everything else.
No. Yeah, I couldn't do that. Also, a shoot with creepy dolls sounds terrifying, but I'd do it. But I'd run immediately after, just so you know.
Oh, well, you can be the creepy doll with the creepy dolls, and maybe it won't be as bad.
Well, I am a dead dolly.
You are a dead dolly. I just have to say, this is kind of off topic, but on the dead dolls, I love when people take the doll heads and turn them into like planters or light bulbs and things like that. I think that's cool. We'll get back to slashers in a minute, I promise everyone. But I love repurposing things like that. It's so neat. So, Bill said my mom gave my wife a bunch of dolls. Oh, no, Bill, I'm sorry. I hope none of them are haunted. That sounds terrifying, and I wish you the best. Good luck, sir.
You should just, like, occasionally send them back. Sorry, this one's haunted. You can have her back.
Thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah.
No to Chucky. No to Bride of Chucky. Then there was two of them. Oh my God, that was even worse.
That was. And I can't remember. I think it's the Bride of Chucky or one of the Child's Play movies where, like, it's like mirror breaks or something, and that scene like is like embedded into my brain for like ever. Where I think they were like in the hotel room or something, and like the mirror broke on like a heart-shaped bed or something, or yeah. I'm just making this up, but it's like embedded in my brain with Chucky, and it makes me never want to go in like one of those fancy rooms at a hotel, because
they are not fancy. I'll let you know, they're not fancy rooms.
I'm sure maybe one of the expensive hotels somewhere. I just gotta watch out for Chucky. So
yes. I would just avoid all of those altogether myself. Yeah, no, Chucky, no, definitely can't be having that at all. Ooh, and we're going to have some really creepy dolls for sale soon with the Dead Dollies, so that would be exciting. I can't wait to see some of those.
Sounds exciting. It also sounds like a nightmare for me.
Okay, but when they're purposely creepy, it's different than when they're not supposed to be creepy and they're creepy. Does that make sense?
I do know what you mean, like, especially like the older ones.
I had a friend who had one of those from like the 60s. It was called a chatty, Kathy.
Oh, yeah.
And it, like, had the pull string, and it still worked, but it sounded like demons coming through this doll. She would pull it out for the Halloween party and put it in a rocking chair. Terrifying. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. Totally creepy. She'd make it talk. Even worse. Nope. Put that away. Put that away. Keep that over there.
But not for me, thank you. I would have left.
Yeah, it was, I would just be like, avoid my eyes. I'm not looking over in that direction at all.
No, thank you.
I actually might rather deal with a Freddy or a Jason or a Michael Myers than one of a possessed doll. No.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you on that.
You're talking some crazy magic there, and they pop up all over the place. They're just there one minute, and they're gone, and they're over here. You're like, I don't know. No.
Like, they could make more if they want to. And that's the crazy part. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you so you can be my new bride. Like, oh. Like, what happens when they want little babies? Little baby Chuckies would be the worst.
That would be terrifying. Not even cool. I think it's in the bad guy handbook. They're not allowed to have... I don't know, though, because that's how they became bad guys. They had to have bad guy families. So, I'm not sure. Awful.
We gotta stop talking about dolls.
All right, let's go. All right, so... Let's talk. What was your first slasher, like a Chucky movie, or was it?
It was The Bride of Chucky.
Very nice.
I remember it so vividly.
The early ones, they always stick with you the most.
Yeah. What was yours? Was it Freddy, or you said that was one of your first?
So it has been a long time. I have seen a few movies. And I'm trying to remember. It was either Nightmare on Elm Street or it was the early Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 74, 76. They are both kind of tied for the first couple ones, and they are definitely still very vivid. I mean, all the ones. I watched a lot of the golden age of slasher films from like the late 70s into the early 80s.
Yeah.
They were pretty much my introduction to horror, and that's what really got me, Freddy with coming into your dreams, and it was terrifying, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre where it was, based on a true story. I'm like, oh my God, it's based on a true story. They're cannibals. They're taking off people's faces, it's, Leatherface. Yeah, Bill. Terrifying to think about all that. And one of the other ones I loved was Candyman. I don't know if you ever saw Candyman.
I refused.
It was so scary. It was so good all at the same time because, like you said, you felt almost bad for him sometimes, and then you're like, why do I feel bad for him? He's a terrifying bad guy. So that was, I like those. We were just like, I kind of like him, but I don't want to like him at all.
I feel like a lot of times I tend to, like, feel guilty for the villain because you're like, well, he didn't want to be a villain, but
he was forced into it. He was kind of forced into it. It's terrible. With Leatherface, it was the mom was really forcing him, and with the moms, they seem to be the bad ones there sometimes. They're all sick and twisted, and then they implant their ways into their kids and turn them and twist them into these horrible monsters. It's terrifying. Does that make moms the ultimate bad people? I hope not.
No.
No. All right, you're right. You can't. You're right. It's only a couple of them being that bad.
Bill says Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary. So I used to be terrified of that legend of looking
Yep.
into a mirror and saying the names, and I would cover my mirrors up. I did not have mirrors when I was going to bed. All the mirrors would be covered up. But
Yeah, same. I won't go into a room that's dark with a mirror. I will turn on or I'll close my eyes. Like, I still to this day won't go into a dark room with a mirror until the light is on. Like, it's ruined me when I was young. Because, I mean, I was just so young I think it was like elementary school when we started talking about Bloody Mary, and then, that kind of stuff sticks with you, and
well, there's a lot of, a lot of the bad guys, they seem to come through the mirrors and things like that, from the mirror world almost, where, mirrors are no good, especially in the dark. You have to be careful. Have to be careful there.
Yeah. Another more recent one that I really liked was Don't Breathe.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was blind. Yeah, and so he was just so good at listening to their sounds, and it was just that movie where I just couldn't breathe, like, watching it. Like, genuinely couldn't breathe, and it when they went to the basement, I wasn't ready for that. Like, wasn't ready for that. But that's one of those movies that it was so surprising to me, but it was really good, but just, I don't even know how to describe it anymore, apparently, because I'm just like reliving it.
When you're in there like that and you're following along with the characters, it is you are catching your breath and you're looking around, and sometimes, I mean, I'm a mover sometimes, like if I've watched the movie once or twice, sometimes I will shout if I'm particularly invested in the characters, like, what are you doing? What is going on? Don't do that. Absolutely. And then I cheer for them too, but well, Debbie says that her first slasher was Halloween, and yes, I agree. Halloween was also one of the first couple ones too. Halloween is a great one.
Have you watched the remake of it yet?
I did.
The most recent one.
I think I did. I thought I've watched almost all the remakes of the Halloweens, and I like them. It is such a great bad guy. I love him. I love him. Do you like the Halloweens too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I like a lot too, because when you have like multiples of a movie, like remakes or like part 2s and stuff like that, they're normally like, oh, the first one's amazing, and then it's like, what happened? But like, I don't really feel that way with the Halloween movies. Like, I feel like each one individually, like, I enjoy watching it. Like, he's just such a like great character and so smart. That's the thing, is they're all so smart. They're just like
so smart. It's terrible. Rich says, "Hey, yo, what's up, Rich?" But yes, no, it's terrible. I don't like how they're that smart either. But in Halloween, like you were saying, like each one is different. It's like you get a little bit more to the story, like with everyone that you get to see, which I like that too. It isn't just the same, like he's just gonna come and he's gonna slash you up and he's gonna kill you. There's a little bit more to each of the depth of the character and develop the whole background of everything.
Yeah. I agree. I'm like trying to make sure that we don't miss anyone, like bringing up their favorites or anything like that. Tell us about the movies you like, or your favorite slasher, your first one. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I loved Jamie Lee Curtis in the Halloweens. I thought she was so good. I read a while ago that they were like, you need to just be, as innocent. Just try to be, as innocent as possible. And I thought she nailed it. I loved when she came back and, revived her character in some of in the later redo. It was such a great twist on everything.
Yeah. And I really liked for the most recent one that they, like, had her in it as well. Like, that was, like, a really good touch to it. Like, keeping true to the, like, people. Like, I mean, she's such a great actress.
I agree.
I mean, we know Kathy Bates is my favorite, but she's definitely up there.
Yes. No, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's definitely goddess there on the slasher films.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of my other super faves. What were you gonna say? You had something to say too.
No, I was saying the same thing. I was like, I feel like there's, like, more that, like, I'm just, like, not pulling to the surface.
Oh, we only briefly talked about, I mean, Jason. We can talk more about Jason if you want. I mean, we didn't really get too much into him because he was pretty terrifying as well. I don't know what you guys thought.
Yeah, I can agree. I remember when I heard Haddonfield, and, you know, my grandparents have always lived in Jersey and, like, near Haddonfield, so I was like, wait, what? Haddonfield? And then, I mean, it's not Haddonfield, New Jersey, but, like, that's, like, all that was in my head, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I gotta run. Like, and I don't know. I mean, I've always been a big camper, too, and so I gotta stay away from the lake, clearly. I mean, lakes are gross, so.
So I think you actually can go, and there's supposed to be an overnight is it at Camp Crystal Lake? You can actually go and overnight there?
I think it was, like, a one-time thing they were doing a couple years ago.
Okay.
Or if they're still continuing to do it, it's, like, crazy expensive, because that was one thing I really wanted to go and do, but I was like, because I think it was, like, 2016, I think, was when it came. So I was, like, still way too young to be able to afford something like that. And so I'm like, I hope they do it again, because that sounds like a really cool experience. And then there's, like, another one that's similar to that, but I think it's, like, you're sleeping with zombies or something, and they, like, get in your tent with you unless you're in the safe zone. And they have a bunch of really cool things like this. And I'm like, I want to go. But I'm also just going to sit in the safe zone.
Interactive horror movies is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the ultimate test of could you survive. You go into one of the interactive horrors and see if you can make it out. Or if you got the zombie sleeping with you in your tent, not in the safe zone.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I would hide in the safe zone because that would be scary for me. I love being scared, but, you know, sometimes you gotta not. Don't touch me is my thing. Like, I'll look at you, I'll watch you from afar, but, like, you know when you go through, like, haunted attractions and they have a chainsaw?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like, all you can think about is, like, Leatherface and his chainsaw, and then, like, you don't even see it before, like, you hear it first, and then so you're like, I'm just gonna stay back here, let you guys walk in front of me, and then you, like, grab the shirt of the person in front of you, like, okay, tell me how it's gonna go.
I think sometimes the sound effects and the scores that go in with the movies are just as terrifying as the bad guys. You know, it heightens the tension and it heightens the anticipation and just adds to everything when you're immersed in it. And same thing when you're doing, like you said, like when you're walking through haunted attractions, you know, those sounds are what pull you into the real story.
Yeah, and then, like, with Michael Myers, you know, he's got his Halloween theme song, and it's like, you hear that and you're like, where? Like, obviously, like, they're not hearing it, but, like, if that were to happen in real life, like, even, like, someone just playing, like, a joke on you or something, if I heard that, I run as far as I can. Hopefully.
Right?
Yeah. But you're right, the music, it really does make a movie. And the sounds, I, like, recently, because we just have our subtitles put on for Netflix, and I just never turn them off, so, like, it's funny when you're watching these movies, and then they're, like, crying noises, or, like, ominous, creepy music playing. Like,
yes.
I just kind of like want to watch one of these movies, especially a slasher, because like like all the sounds are what's important.
Yeah,
and just watch it in silence and only like read the subtitles. Like I think that would be hilarious, but also like you have to do it with one that you've seen, obviously, or it ruins the movie for you. But...
Yes, you're right. You're right. No, that is hilarious. I do as well. Watch the subtitles. You have the subtitles on, and it is my favorite to see how they describe the sound effects, the background music. I'm just like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah, when I was watching it like earlier, it was like saying like panting, like that was her noise, but I was like, that's not even the noise that she's making. It's really funny too. Just like especially when there's like not like proper words for sounds, so they're like weird noise.
Sorry, I'm just thinking back to all the strange subtitles I've also seen, Flying sounds. Hard rock music.
Yeah. I mean, they're descriptive. I also noticed with like subtitles too, you'll say a word, but it won't be like what's on the screen. Like they're like for some reason something in the like transcription like got messed up, and it'll be like completely opposite. And that's like even like when it's like an English based movie or something, and it's like it's right there, like you hear it.
Bill says that a good ghost movie scares him because you can't kill a ghost. And you're right, Bill. I mean, that is absolutely terrifying. How do you kill something you can't kill? I don't know. How would everybody else react in those situations? I don't know.
I think I would try to friend a ghost. Ghosts are just lost souls.
See, you think they're just lost souls,
Well, you know what? If it's a vengeance one, then I mean, oops, I messed up. But I think more so, because like demons are supposed to be the ones that are just like and like follow you around. Ghosts are like in a house, and so like if I can't friend the ghost, be like, bye, I'm gonna move to the next house.
Peace out. Enjoy your house.
Yeah, I mean, I think my cats would find the ghost before I would because they meow at nothing all the time. So.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. Warning us.
Corey wants to know what's everyone's favorite bad slasher movie, and that's a great question. Okay, so bad slasher movies.
I don't know.
Okay, my favorite bad slasher movie is it the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre where they're doing the chili cook-off? Somebody hopefully can make sure I'm right here in the crowd, but they did this chili cook-off, and oh my God, it was just meat everywhere. It was so much gore. And there was still, Leatherface, but all the bad guys were like bad guys in disguise. It was very cheesy in the way that it was done in a sequel to, one of those in the 80s. But that was probably one of my favorites.
Bad. The slashers. I'm like still trying to figure it out. Also, I can't friend my ghost. I forgot I have to call Ghostbusters. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
Debbie says Sleepaway Camp was one of her favorite bad. Chopping Mall. There's so many good ones. So there is this whole beautiful time period of like a decade long of these really cheesy gore slasher fests that just really just like went on. Corey says Jason Takes New York. That was hilarious. Rich says Motel Hell. And they were just what they did with their low budgets and usually not very well-known actors. Some of these went straight to video release. they were still terrifying. They were still great. I know I watched them. Obviously, you all still watch them too. And, I don't know if any slasher is really a bad one, because if you're jumping a little bit, or even if you're laughing and admiring some of the special effects, it's still a good time.
Yeah. I'm just having such a hard time with this. I'm liking looking at everyone, though. Oppressed? Oh, you're talking about the ghosts again. I was like, this is...
Yeah, you have to watch out with the ghosts. That's terrifying. See, now, if it's a ghost, they're not supposed to be able to, like, touch you. It's when they're into the more demonic range, perhaps, is when there can start to be, like, human interaction, like in the poltergeisty regions. But I do have to say that I think this is an interesting fact, and it was mentioned in Ghostbusters as well, so Bill or Rich might like this. But when a woman is entering into puberty, and when she is exiting into her menopause, and women are oh my goodness, I can't even talk. More susceptible to poltergeist activity because of our hormone levels. So in, like, Ghostbusters, he asks her, he's like, "Are you menstruating?" And she's like, "What does that have to do with it?" In the library. But apparently that's a thing. So, like, don't have a lot of girls in your house susceptible to poltergeist activity. I hear some random banging in the background. Maybe it's already happening.
It's my cat trying to claw into the couch. They're just making lots of appearances today. He tried jumping up a little earlier, but I got him to not.
Mine has not been anywhere near me right now, and I've been really surprised that I've had almost a full hour. He's has to be sleeping somewhere, because normally he's meowing until I pick him up like a baby on my shoulder, and, he's happy.
Yeah. He's, just still going at it. Sorry about that.
All right, so no poltergeist activity in your house. You were safe. So that is good. And it's not Freddy Krueger slashing his way through your couch. So that is also excellent. I had a hard time. I want to talk real quick about Freddy Krueger. But when the one scene where he comes up out of the hand comes up out of the bathtub, I definitely had a period of time where I was not happy with that. So it's like, nope, who knows? He's just going to appear.
Yeah, that's how I feel about a lot of these. Like, when you watch, to me, like, slashers specifically, like, have made me, like, in my head be like, we're not gonna live in the middle of the woods. We're not gonna leave our doors unlocked. Like, I aggressively check my doors at night to make sure that all my locks are I'll check, like, 3 times, and, like, all my window curtains have to be closed. Like, there's going to be no way that you can get into my house because of me watching so many slasher movies. And
they give you the checklist of things that you have to do. Okay, locked. See, but what do you do about your dreams? I mean, are you taking the dream medicine to suppress your Freddy from coming through your dreams? I mean, how does that work?
I just not even
cool.
I finally fall asleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then it's work. He's got a small period of time that he can get in, so.
There you go. That's an excellent idea. No sleep. Sleep is for losers and people who aren't going to survive through the horror movie.
No.
Sorry, that's hilarious.
You're welcome. I'm glad I can entertain you.
You definitely do that for me. Thank you. Does anybody else have any good comments about slashers? Does anybody else want to talk about anything that we haven't already talked about? Is there somebody we missed in our slashing our way through this hour?
Ooh.
I don't know. I think we covered a lot of the good ones.
We did.
And I mean, I love slashers so much that I did even see a lot of the remakes of the slasher films.
Yeah. Well, you need to work a little better on your remakes.
I'm coming around. I have such a soft spot for all those, oldie ones. But the remakes are great. Some of the new special effects are awesome. So, I'm definitely going to be watching more of those.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too, is the special effects sometimes, kill the, spookiness of the old slashers and stuff. Especially, you don't really need effects. You just need music and good writing.
Yes, exactly. The suspense. We'll have to come up with something good for next week. I'm getting excited thinking about what we're going to talk about for next week. Maybe everybody in the comments can write what they want us to talk about. If not, we're going to come up with something amazing for you guys.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys want to hear. We love listening to your things. We're going to catch up on our movie list that you gave us last time, where I know I've been a little busy, so I was falling a little bit behind on that, but we haven't forgotten. Don't worry.
Yes, I agree. I also was not able to do some of my homework that I was supposed to do from the last time, but I will, and maybe that is something that we can talk about for the next week, some of the ones that we were supposed to talk about from 2 weeks ago, and then elaborate a little bit more. But so glad to be here with you tonight.
Absolutely. It's always nice getting to interact with everybody and just talk about one common thing that we all love, and it's fun because you get to think about all the different places you can go with it and all the different themes. So make sure you guys let us know what you want to hear next week.
Yeah, absolutely. We love looking at your comments and seeing what everybody says. It definitely is great to be interacting with you guys. And we'll talk more about that for next week. Super excited. And we'll also talk about some of the movies that we were supposed to do before. We were naughty.
Absolutely.
We were bad. We were bad dead dollies.
Rich says zombie movies.
I love zombie movies, so that would not be a problem with me at all. Zombies is a great topic, so we'll see what everybody else says. Maybe, Rich, you'll have your wish. So I'll have to see how that goes.
Absolutely. I agree. Zombies are definitely a terrifying thing because, they I believe it could happen. I'm ready. I mean, I'm not prepared very well, but I know it's gonna that's gonna be how 2020 ends, is the zombies are gonna start popping up.
Oh no, don't say it. Don't say it.
If it happened, it wasn't me, I'm sorry.
It wasn't you. Want to mention our sponsors before we leave too: Pop Culture Kaboom and Deadly Grounds Coffee. So nice that you were there. Bloodshed Farms, can't wait to visit that. Nightmare Paintball, talking about one of those interactive horror fests that you can do. What a great way to get that in. And really look forward to talking to everybody next week.
Me too. I agree. And I really want to do the Nightmare Paintball.
Sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, I do.
See, but that you're going to have to, though, because if you believe that 2020 is ending in the zombies, then I think Nightmare Paintball is the only way for you to get prepped up, because there might not be too many other options unless we're hoarding up with Debbie and her battle axes and swords. So, Debbie, we're coming with you.
Yeah, Debbie will be our protection. Well.
All right, everyone. I think we are just about to wrap up for the night, and it was so great to have everybody here this evening. Lex, beautiful as always. Love seeing your face.
Absolutely, you as well with your little witchy vibes today. I'm loving that necklace still. I've just been staring at it. I have to get me one of those. Well, I think we're
just about done. All right, everyone. Well, we will see you all next Tuesday.
The same dead place at the same dead time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.